Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. Welcome to another story time video. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you the tale of how I was in a movie with none other than Mr. Michael Jai White, the legend himself. So this is a tale that involves me being an extra in a movie with Michael Jai White, meeting Michael Jai White, and me also on the verge of shitting my pants. Trust me, it's a good one. You want to stick around for it. I feel like if you're subscribed to this channel, you have a warped sense of humor like me, and you'll get a jonesing out of this story. But before we get to any of that, I guess the best place to start is back in 1997. I want to introduce you guys to my dear friend, Josh. Now, some of you may know him from our Uncharted fan film, Uncharted: The Oxus Redemption. He played Crank. Josh is technically one of my oldest friends. Josh and I met in grade 3 in 1997. We've been best mates ever since. Now, in 1997, another monumental thing happened. A film came out called Spawn, starring Michael Jai White as Al Simmons / Spawn. And I remember when Spawn came out, it was the talk of the town in my primary school. Even though we weren't old enough to see the film, we just spoke about it. We spoke about the trailers and the TV spots that we saw on TV, magazine articles and stuff like that. I wasn't allowed to see the film until like a year later, but I remember Joshy and I just obsessing over the film. And then a year later, at our mutual friend Ben's birthday party, his parents rented the film. We watched it and we were just like, this is badass, yeah. Anyway, Josh and I have been friends for the longest time. So fast forward, so the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th of April 2018 is the Gold Coast Supernova / Superhero Parade. And I'm dressed up as Nomad Cap from Avengers Infinity War. Now, Joshy came up for Supernova as well. He'd never been up to the Gold Coast for Supernova before. He's like, I'll check it out, man. I'm going to be up there as well. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Let's hang out. Let's do all that. Anyway, we saw the guest list. And Michael Jai White, Spawn himself, Gamble from the Dark Knight, was appearing as a guest. And I said to Joshy, dude, we got to get a photo with this guy. You and I have been frothing over him since like grade 3 back in 97. So we got to do this. So here's the photo we got with Michael Jai White. And he was just so cool, so suave. I remember Joshy and I walked into the photo booth area, and Joshy and I like prepping before him. We're like, all right, how are we going to pose with him? Did we just like do like a martial arts pose? And like, I'm the goofiest guy ever, whereas Josh is a lot more calm, cool, collected. And Josh is like, all right, I got it. So I walk in, Josh strikes a pose. Michael Jai White looks at Josh, looks at me. He's like, okay. And does that. And that's the photo you see. Coolest guy ever. Anyway, that weekend happens. It was great. The superhero parade was great. Loved it. Cut to the beginning of May. I get a DM from Michael Jai White. And he's like, hey man, I saw you tag me in the photo of you and your friend. We're about to start this film, The Outlaw Johnny Black, and doing crowdfunding. You know, do you want to help out? I've seen your socials. You do some great stuff. And I'm like, is this a bot? Is this Michael Jai bot? Anyway, he sent all the details to him. Like, yeah, man, absolutely. So on the 5th of May, 2018, my video goes live on the Cosplay Chris channel. Being like, hey guys, Michael Jai White is doing his latest film, The Outlaw Johnny Black. If you guys know his work, you probably are very familiar with Black Dynamite. And if you guys have not checked out Black Dynamite, I highly recommend it. It is a great piece of filmmaking, especially when you read into the technical aspects of how they made that film. And I think it's Michael's strongest performance ever. Like, it's so damn good. It's that grindhouse kind of feel. It's just an absolute brilliant film. So anyway, that video went live. Michael's like, great, I'll share it, thank you so much. And then there was just radio silence, and I guess in the background they were trying to get funding and stuff like that, and making a film, like whether it be a big multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar budget film right up to an independent film, it can be hard. Like, it can be really hard to source funds and crowdfunding and stuff like that, and securing locations. Like, it's an absolute shit show and a logistical nightmare. So let's cut to the end of 2019. The 11th of October 2019, for that matter. I'm about to do a photo shoot as the Crows, you can see right here, where my hair was very long. I was actually just about to cut it. I was a week away from cutting it, and this is my final photo shoot before I cut my hair, and I'm like, let's go out with a bang. So I was about to put my crow makeup on. Anyway, I get a call from a lovely woman named Makesha, who was an associate producer on The Outlaw Johnny Black, and I didn't know what it was about. She called me and we're just having a chat. She goes, you know, Michael wanted to thank you for your work you did on that video. I'm like, yeah, man, like that was a long time ago. I barely remember that. That was like over a year ago, and I'm, you know, and she's like, okay, like, you know, Michael wants you to help out with the movie. I'm like, well, yeah, like I've already kind of helped out. And she goes, oh no, honey, like Michael wants to fly you over to be in the movie The Outlaw Johnny Black. And I'm like, excuse me. And she's like, yeah, this is a thank you. You know, he's getting a bunch of content creators who helped out with raising awareness for the film. He wants them as extras in the film. I'm like, holy shit. Yes, and like I was about to have lunch and then I was going to put the makeup on and we were going to do this photo shoot. So like it was a busy ass day, and Makesha was just so lovely. She goes, yep, we'll organize flight details over the next couple of days. Cut to the 7th of November 2019. I fly out to LA. Now I allowed myself a good couple of days just to settle in, and also I love LA. LA's like my second home. I just love running amok there. I just love the history, the filmmaking history, the costuming history, just everything about it. I have friends there as well. I was staying with my dear friend Jen. So like I said, I had a few days to kill before going to set. I was on set for 2 days. I was going to be playing a barkeep, which is really cool. I'm like, hell yeah, I can polish some glasses and twirl my mustache and ask, hey buddy, how about them Jets? So I get to LA on the 7th of November. The great thing about flying to the States from Australia, you don't lose a day. You fly out on the 7th from Australia, you get to LA on the 7th. It's fucking brilliant. So cut to a few days later on the 12th of November. Jen and I were like, hey, let's go out for dinner. Jen had been working. She worked at a movie theater at the time. Like, hey, let's go out for dinner and have a drink. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. Celebrate before I go and film. So we went to this very swish Chinese restaurant in LA. I've never seen anything like it. It was something out of a Rush Hour film. It was called the Teo Asian Bistro. And you walk in and it's like multi-leveled and it's like an amphitheater and it's beautiful and got some nice chicken and rice, and holy shit, it was good. In the words of Democracy Manifest, it was a brilliant, succulent Chinese meal.
What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
After that, Jen's like, do you want to go to Scum and Villainy? For those who don't know what that is a Star Wars themed bar on Hollywood Boulevard. And I'm like, hell yeah, I've been there once before, but let's go again. So we went there, and their kind of trademark drink is like the blue drink, what Luke Skywalker drinks in The Last Jedi. I'm like, I don't like that shit. I'm not one for cocktails, mixes and stuff like that. That make me just feel crook. Like I can't do vodka Red Bulls, stuff like that. It just turns my stomach to acid. So Scum and Villainy, I'm like, do you have a red wine? And the girl was like, yeah, hang on, I'll go get it. And I feel like she went out the back and got it from behind a radiator or something. She came back and it was like, pours it in my glass, have a red wine, and Jen had a drink. And we're like, all right, cool. So go home. I fall fast asleep. And anyway, at like 4 in the morning, I start feeling contractions in my stomach. Contractions that you usually equate to food poisoning. And I'm like, trying to sleep, and I'm like, oh no, this is not good. So anyway, a few hours later, in the early hours of the morning, like 6 a.m., I sprint to the toilet, and it's on for young and old. It's both ends having an absolute blast. She won't hold! And this is 2 days before I'm supposed to be on set to film the Outlaw Johnny Black with my scenes as the barkeep. So for the next 2 days, I am in bed. I cannot keep anything down and everything is going through me. In that 2 days, I dropped 5 kilos and I was withering away like Mr. Burns. Smithies! And I remember on the second day, and this is the day before I'm supposed to be on set, I cried. I was in bed crying. I'm like, I'm screwed. I can't do this. Just imagining how I'm feeling now on set. I'm like, there's no way I can physically be there. Like, I'll shit my pants on set and probably just cry and run off set. I was smashing so much Pepto-Bismol and crackers, trying to keep crackers down. The Pepto-Bismol was amazing. Look, if you guys have smashed Pepto-Bismol, the only thing is it's got like a lot of like iron and stuff like that. It's very heavy and it kind of like clogs you up. TMI. So the night before I'm supposed to go to set, I start to turn a corner and I'm starting to feel better. The contraction aren't as bad. I'm not going to the loo as much. I'm like, okay, I just got to smash a shitload of water, just try and get some rest before the next day. I didn't have to be on set until I think it was like 9 a.m. And we were going to the Rancho Maria and Sable Ranch, which is like 45 minutes to an hour from where Jen was. Jen dropped me off complete with graham crackers and dried biscuits and stuff like that, Pepto-Bismol. I arrive at set and there's Makesha. She greets me with a hug and she's the sweetest lady ever. And she's like, come meet Michael. I'm like, holy shit, here we go, man. I wasn't even in costume yet. I was just dressed like nobody owns me, just like in regular clothes. Like there was the costuming area, but Makesha's like, I want you to meet Michael now. You know, he wants to meet you. He'd love to meet you. So they take me down to the main drag where the film is set. It's like the main town, like the main drag. And there's Michael sitting in his chair. Michael Jai White, the man himself in his Outlaw Johnny Black gear. And he's just having a smoothie, just like a berry smoothie, just by himself, just shooting the shit. And Makesha comes up and is like, Michael, this is Chris from Australia. And he's like, hey, da, 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 da. Anyway, we have a chat for like 15 minutes. And Michael's explaining to me like the process of Outlaw Johnny Black and how his production company Gigantic Studios is producing it, because essentially I wouldn't say he's been burned by the Hollywood system, but it's more like if you have your own production company, you can do things your way, and that's why he founded Gigantic Studios, and he just wanted to do more films like the Outlaw Johnny Black that are very reminiscent of Black Dynamite, just that grindhouse kind of feel, just set in Western time. And he was just an absolute treat, absolute delight. And then they had to call him on to do some scenes in the bar, and he's like, I have to go, I'm so sorry, lovely to meet you, like I will chat to you throughout the next couple of days. He was just an absolute gentleman. The dude's a tower, like he's huge. I'm 5'9". I'm the epitome of like average male height. Michael Keaton's 5'9" and Tom Hardy's 5'9", and look who they went on to play. Gives me hope. But yeah, he's just like man mountain, and he's just jacked to the nines. You shake hands with him and it's like shaking hands with 5 like logs of concrete. It's just like, there you go. So they get me in costume, and I did a day shoot in the bar, as you see right here, and it was when Michael Jai White's Johnny Black comes in and comes face to face with me to order a drink, and then some townspeople like the sheriff and all that kind of hustle him up and kind of rev him up a bit, like, you know, stranger, what are you doing? You're from out of town, who are you? And it was so cool to just have sequences shot with me facing Michael Jai White. Even though this is how it was framed in the final shot, I thought it was going to be us in the frame together. Nonetheless, like, you see the back of my fucked head, but just so cool to act opposite him. And he was like, you know, how do you want to play this? I'm like, well, I'll just, you know, play it straight, barkeep, you know, with the big twirly mustache. And a big shout out to the makeup artist that did an incredible job with my lace front mustache and gelling my hair and making me look like a proper barkeep in that beautiful costume. But yeah, Michael was great. It was just like, all right, how do you want to play this, man? You know, I'm just like, dude, I'll just act through my eyes, you know, won't say a word, but just be like very suspicious of you. And he's like, yep, cool, okay, easy. And he comes in and does the thing, and that was it. And then there were more scenes after that where he gets interrogated by like the sheriff and the sheriff's gang, all that. So that was day one. Next day was midday till midnight, so that led into a night shoot. So I get there the next day, still feeling a bit meh, like the stomach had held off for day one. Day two, I get there in costume, and I'm just sitting by a trailer there, and like my call time wasn't for like an hour, so I was just on my phone. Anyway, I look on the call sheet and I see a very familiar name. You guys might know him on YouTube, Tyrone Magnus. And I'm like, holy shit, Tyrone Magnus. I watch a lot of his stuff. Anyway, he gets there, he gets in costume. He's like the nicest guy ever. I don't know if you guys remember, like a lot of the time, beginning of his videos, he's just like, and he like sits down and starts to react to something. That right there is Tyrone in a nutshell. He's just very chill, very soft-spoken, and just calm. Like, he has this calm aura about him. You're chatting to him, and it just seems like, dude, nothing's a problem for you. You just seem very chill. Anyway, he was a lovely bloke. I'll get to his sequence in the saloon where we were filming at night. He had a really good sequence, and I got a screenshot of him as well. So there was more bar stuff in the afternoon that was leading into the bar fight, and they had a lot of breakable stuff like sugar glass, stuff like that. But before that, when they were setting up inside the saloon, we were all out in the main street, like groups of us, and there was a bunch of like content creators who were extras in the film, like how I had gotten there. There was one guy from YouTube, and I quizzed him. I'm like, so what do you think about the apocalypse, mate? And he's like, oh, you know, don't worry about it. Michael Jai White was just coming around to each group of people, just having a chat, and then he got to us, and again, just candid, had a chat. I even quizzed him about working with Heath on The Dark Knight when he played Gamble, and he was very candid about that. He's very open about that, just very sweet and endearing towards Heath. But also, you know, I asked him about Spawn, and he told me, you know, there was obviously a different cut of the film. And if you guys have seen that famous Collider clip when he was on the Collider podcast about the original cut of Spawn and how it was more subdued and more character driven and about Al Simmons and Wanda, he was just so cool. And he's like, all right, guys, I'll talk to you later. I'm just going to go chat to these guys. A professional, and just made everyone feel welcome. So time came, sun had gone down, it was time to shoot this barroom brawl. So Michael Jai White comes in, sees his friend, and then a barroom brawl erupts. And I, like, the barroom brawl starts like at the bar there, and I kind of like throw my tea towel down and just storm off, and then the shit hits the fan, and it's like, it was a bunch of old school Hollywood stunt guys just beating the shit out of each other, having a good old time, sugar glass everywhere. And then Tyrone and then a bunch of the other content creators got this guy, did the old-fashioned sliding down the bar with like breakaways and all that, and here's Tyrone right here on the right hand side, just smashes him at the end of the bar, and it was good old fun. And then there was this clip, and I can't for the life of me find it, they smash guys through the windows out the front of the bar. Now, when they were gearing up for the scene of the fight to start happening, I started to get contractions once again. I'm like, oh shit. Literally. I'm like, this is either going to go really good or really bad. So I was fighting for life to hold everything in. I was sweating, and it helped with my character because it's hot out in the desert, hot out in the Wild West. The barkeeper's probably sweating from keeping up with serving drinks and stuff like that. They were filming the sequence, and it got to the point where I was losing faith and losing control in my bodily functions. And then at that moment, Makesha came up and said, you are wrapped for the night, but if you want to stay and watch, be my guest. And I'm like, I have to go to the loo, but I do want to watch. I'll be back. I rushed. I sprinted. I did a flash straight to the portaloos there. I think this clip from Daddy Daycare sums it up. And with that, I felt the sickness had finally left my body. Whatever evil spirits were in me had left. Ooh. After that, came back, bunch of us extras, just watched the absolute mayhem unfold with the stunt guys being thrown through the glass and the brawl just erupting out onto the main street. And that was it. I wrapped at midnight. It was the most eventful, fun-filled, interesting, and I learnt a lot in terms of those 2 days. It was great. It was refreshing. It was good to meet such genuine, passionate people, and to meet one of your childhood heroes and have them be just an absolute legend and a half, and just be so down to earth and accepting and warm was so cool. And something I will never forget. And I've shared this antidote on my main Cosplay Chris channel, but I haven't shared it this in depth before. And I figured you guys are getting absolute jonesing out of it. And yeah, that was filmed at the end of 2019, and the film only came out at the end of last year, 2023. So there have been, I wouldn't say problems, but just trying to get it distributed and then funding and stuff like that. And then they had the premiere, but here you go. That's my part in the Outlaw Johnny Black. I was listed as Chris Cosplay Stanley as the barkeep, but to share the screen technically, even though it wasn't front and center, just as an extra with Michael Jai White, but to also just have notes from him, like on how we're gonna play this, even though I'm just an extra, was so refreshing. He makes everyone feel warm and welcome. And it was the funnest time ever, regardless of me nearly shitting my pants. And there you have it, guys. That is the time I got to film a movie with Michael Jai White as the barkeep with a big old dirty twirly mustache. Hope you guys got a jonesing out of that. Hope it was just a good bit of background noise just to hear me fucking babble on and all that shit. Love you guts, and I'll catch you in the next one.